Okay, YouTubers and space detectives, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. I've got a whole bunch of new Gigapans to show you today. I'll try not to be too long on each one, but I'm sure you people out there will find loads of crazy stuff. If any of the other ones in the past are anything to go by, I'm sure you will. This one's a really nice one. This is Sol 395. Not a huge Gigapan this, but some lovely detail in here. And this is Jezero Crater, Perseverance Rover 395, mass left. I've done an enhanced one at the top. We've got the raw one here and some smaller ones here as well from the same day. And what we got here, which is absolutely stunning. Now we've seen this before, but this is the best view we've had of it, I think. We have this mound here, which I think is artificial, as I've said from the start. It's very much like Silbury Hill in Wiltshire, which we have here, which is an artificial mound, Neolithic site, okay? And this is a constructed mound. It's quite big. There's loads of these around Europe and all over the world, in fact, okay, in all types of countries. Artificial mounds. These date back many thousands of years, even before the Romans got here or anything, you know, so these are really ancient. This is similar age to Stonehenge, I would say. I think that's the general consensus. And these are artificial mounds. And the one on Mars looks very similar in sort of size, and actually this is probably a bit bigger, but it's very similar, and it's just so symmetrical that I don't really think this could be a natural formation. This seems to me to be artificial, and there seems to be some kind of structure at the top here. You can't see it very well. If you use the magnifier, you can see this weird line going across, which looks like a wall or something, the remains of, maybe. But there's loads of weird and wonderful mounds in the background up here on the ridge, which is the edge of the crater, which is about a mile or two away, something like that, mile and a half maybe. There's loads of them up here in rows. And when you come along here, there's a whole bunch of these mounds here. And a lot of these look artificial as well. I'm not saying they all are, but some of them do look very suspicious and quite symmetrical. And they're in sort of patterns and groups. And there's some of them which have square edges like this one. And there's these so-called buttes here as well. Some of these look really cool with weird structures on the end. The thing to do with this is to take a clip yourself, take a large clip and darken the contrast, really add loads of contrast, and these will really come out. And you'll be able to see these in much better shape and form, okay? There's loads of weird stuff in the back here. And there's even a sort of weird sort of pile of rocks or something here in a sort of almost pyramid shape just here. It's not very clear, it's quite a long way off. This is about a mile away or half a mile away. You can see them there. It's like a little ziggurat kind of structure made out of rocks, large rocks piled on top of each other. So that may be something interesting. Not seen that before. The rover has decided to go back the way it came and then go north towards the northern edge of the crater and then go west. Now, so it's kind of backtracking, but it's not going exactly the same way back. It's kind of taken a slightly different route. So what we're seeing is a lot of the same things, but from different angles and closer up, okay? Which is cool. Because the Percy was kind of doing nothing for about a month or two, just doing drill samples and playing with the helicopter and stuff. And now it's going back the way it came, and it's going to veer north and then west. But because it's taken a different route, we can see some of these things better than we did before. These so-called buttes here. I mean, look at that. I mean, really artificial looking stuff going on here in the background. Some of these mounds or buttes, whatever you want to call them. I think a lot of these are actual structures, ruins, and they're heavily buried in sand because they just look too good to be true. I mean, this one here, it's got a really kind of squarish edge to it there, just here. So that may be a structure. So my advice with this one is to take some clips yourself from the raw image here and then really darken it up, add loads of contrast and color correct it as well. And these will really show up really, really well. There's another view here. Now this is an enhanced clip. There's some weird stuff going on here, like a structure here. Ruins here. Here, you can see these rocks sticking up. These are like pillars, right? We got this kind of circular dip in the ground, and these go right round it, these structures, or what I would call ruins, okay? These were probably walls and houses here. This one's quite large here. Look at that. Now, the same goes with this one. You need to really sort of darken this up and add contrast to it, but there's some crazy stuff in here. And some of these things look so odd, they really don't look like normal rock formations. They're kind of piled up on top of each other, and weird things joining each other. So, I mean, look at this rock here. Does that look like a normal random rock? I don't think it is. It's placed on top of that one perfectly. So, loads of crazy stuff in this one. And I haven't even analysed this properly yet. I'm sure you'll find loads of stuff. So that was 395. Now, this is another large one. And this is 388, Perseverance Rover, mast right, view west. Now, this is the thing I call the bunker-shaped structure. Okay, and I showed this really early on, about a year ago, and I also showed it from space as well. So check out my other Jezero Crater videos, because you can see this from space, and it's very odd, this thing. It's a lovely view of it here, and we haven't quite seen it from this angle before. This is really nice. I mean, really clear, crystal clear image. And you can see, that's an image artifact, that's stuck on the camera, so don't worry about that. You can see this really well here. And I've shown some of this close up as well, and there's loads of kind of carvings and weird statue things on this, in this sort of debris field that's kind of fallen down off the edge of this thing. And I've shown a lot of that before, but there's a lovely view of it here. But the main thing I want to show you in this one, not only these things over here are pretty cool, but there's a really cool thing over here, which I spotted a few days ago. And it's a statue of a head with a Mohican and a very large ear. And I'll show you with the magnifier. There's the ear. A huge ear. There's one eye. There's the other eye. Strange sort of nose formation here. And the mouth there. And a Mohican on the back, or top, going like a crest, with parts to it. 1, 2, 3, 4. They look almost like teeth, but this is a mohawk, right? There's also some very strange stuff behind it. This rock sticking up here, that's very weird, but that's too far away, right? Here's the raw version of that. You can see it in the raw version. It's there. I'll zoom in a bit closer. So it's definitely there, and you can see all those details in it before I enhanced it, right? Here's the enhancement. I've done a little clip of it. I put this up on Mars Magazine the other day, and a few people were interested, so I thought I'd put it up on here. There it is. Let's go back a little bit, and then I'll zoom in that way so we can see it more clearly. There we are. There's the ear. There's the mohawk on the top, like a crest. There's the eyes, there's the nose. The nose is almost non-existent, but that's not uncommon with some of the statues and even some of the skulls and remains I've found. Some of them got very small noses. Some of them have got very large ones. So there we are. So you can see the detail there. There's not a lot of detail here. It's heavily eroded. It's quite large, I would say. I would say this is probably about 2 feet tall and about 2.5 to 3 feet wide. It's a bit wide. Yeah, so it may be bigger. It's very odd. It's quite strange, but it's no stranger than some of the other ones I've shown. A lot of them do look a bit weird, but this is Mars, you know. We've got to be open-minded about these things and just look at the stuff and try and work out what they are and what they mean, okay? So that was interesting. There's loads of crazy stuff in here, and there's all these weird sort of boulders and rocks. They've got kind of square parts on them over here, like this one's got a kind of square hole in it, which is rather strange. So that looks like it was joined to something. And there's some weird ones here, piled up. And but a lot of these have got squarish parts, and I think a lot of them are artificial or parts of structures that were once here, maybe, right? So that was interesting. And there's loads of crazy stuff in the background up here as well. Up on these ridges in the background, up on the edge of the crater, there's loads of domes and weird formations, which I'm sure a lot of which are artificial. Now let's go to 387. Now this is a smaller view. This is a morning view, bright morning in Jezero Crater, Sol 387, mass left, and a much smaller image or set of images, and the lighting in this is very spectacular, and I think was taken early in the morning when the sun was very low in the sky to the right here. So we've got long shadows. So some of this looks quite dramatic, the lighting. You can't see the background very well because it's too diffuse. But the rocks in the foreground, some of them are very strange. And I've marked one here, which I think is an animal sculpture, this one, with a sort of beak here. And if you look carefully, you can see an eye there, and another one here. But you need to darken it up to see it better, add a bit more contrast, and that will stand out better. And there's another animal over here which looks like a rabbit or some kind of weird animal just here. It's got an eye just there, the round eye with a blackish kind of circle in the middle. It's got a mouth, an ear sticking back here, and a weird little body. Now, rabbits and sort of giant mouse type creatures have been spotted before, and I've shown a couple of them before in Jezero Crater as well as in Gale Crater. Okay, so they do exist. Okay, strange kind of rodent carvings that I've shown before, and some of them are quite large, like 2 or 3 feet in size, with big ears and stuff. So whether it's a rabbit or something like that, I don't know. But first, before I show you them, I'm just going to show you 385. This is another one, Sol 385, Perseverance Rover. This is a nice big pan, this one, and some really good close-up detail. The camera zoomed in quite a long way into this ridge, and there's loads of crazy stuff on here. But the thing I spotted almost immediately was this large rock here. And even in the raw one, which I'm going to go down to now, which is here, you can see there's glyphs on the side of it here, right? There's like a number 5 there and like a number 7. I'm not saying that's what they are, it's what they look like. But there's a row of letters there, and another one here, and another one here, and some smaller ones here. And when you look at the enhanced one, up here, you can see that better. If you don't get too close, use the magnifier. You can see them. There's a 5 there. There's a bunch of them here, but they're not very clear. But you can see some there, smaller ones, right? So what you need to do with this also, take a clip, either with the raw image or this one here, which has been color corrected. And I've got a clip here for you, okay? So I put the raw one on the left here. This has been cranked really hard with contrast, this one. So it's gone very deep in color. Right, this one's a black and white negative, and this is a color negative. So let's look at this one here first. Right, I won't get too close. You can see there's a row of letters there, quite small. A row of letters here, which are quite large, and another row of letters here, which are quite large. And there's also an inscription or weird design here. Right, and you may see that better. Let's go back a little bit and use the magnifier. We've got this weird inscription here with like a G shape there, right? We've got some interesting shapes here. These are glyphs. There's a row of letters here. One that's a bit like an R and a C or K or B or whatever they are, like an F. I'm just saying that's the shapes of them, not saying that's what they are. I'm just saying that's the shapes. This is heavily pitted and eroded, unfortunately, and it looks like it's been here about 1 million years. Maybe more, maybe less, don't know, 500,000 years maybe. But we can see like a 5 here, and a weird sort of 3 kind of shape there, a bit like a 3 with a tail on it. There's like loads of little letters and what look like numbers here, right? Let's look at the negatives, because you may see them better. It really depends on whether you're on a big screen or a small screen. If you have quite a large screen like I've got, you can see these quite well. But you can see in the negative here, you can see that row of letters there. All right? and then the larger row there. I'll zoom in actually. Let's do it that way. Now sometimes you can see them in different colours better, right? And sometimes you can see them better, even better, in black and white, like those there come out really well. Once you remove the colour, you can actually see them there in negative, right? That one looks like a bee. They're not very clear. They're heavily eroded, unfortunately, and I think there's a whole bunch more in this Gigapan as well. There's a lot of detail in here, but if you get too close to it, it's very hard to work out what you're looking at. You've got to get the distance just right. Okay? Let's look at it in the blue here first. The main ones that were here, right, which are quite small. There's a row of them there. R, C, B, F, whatever. And the larger ones, if you get too close, you can't see them until you go back a bit. And then you can see a bunch of them there. So they're pretty cool. There's like an S, U, something there, I don't know. Like a weird sort of shape there. I can't really make out, the 5 was fairly clear. And this one was quite clear. Right? But there's also a weird sort of fine lined inscription here with a sort of embossed Y and weird shape to it there, and another one here like a Y, and there's also some weird letters here, and there's almost like an E-shaped one there like that, right? So you could, and that was quite clear. There's like a double O shape with a dot in the middle and a line there, right? I mean, they're quite hard to spot and work out what they are, but they're definitely there. You can see them better actually in the black and white, I think, sort of, because this is negative, so you can see them. They're carved into it, but some of them look like they're embossed. In other words, they're raised letters. They're not carved in. Some of them look like they're raised upwards. So they carve around the letter and leave the letter standing out. But that 5, you can see that 5-shaped one quite well in this black and white negative, and you can see that double O or whatever that is there quite well. So answers on the postcard with that one. Tell me what you can see, because some of you may be able to see that better on a smaller mobile screen. Sometimes these images condense better and are tighter on the mobile screen because the actual pixels are closer together, so you get a sharper image, right? Whereas on a larger screen like this, the pixels are bigger, right? So sometimes a mobile can really compress the images nicely, and you can see the actual shadows and shapes better on a mobile phone, as long as it's not too small, obviously, and it's got like a decent screen on it. But you can see them there. Once you've seen them, you can see like a whole bunch of them. There's like a big U and an S and a smaller S. And there's a weird thing here, can't really make out. So depending on which one you look at, you can pick out different letters and different shapes. But there seems to be some quite large ones here at the back. And you've got a line here and a line here, right? And that line comes across. So they're kind of done in lines, right? Like this. And there's a line there. And that inscription there, you can see that on here now. It's kind of oval shaped or round-ish, right? So answers on the postcard, tell me what you see. And even in the raw image, once you've seen it, you can actually see that. And then to prove that it's there, what I'll do, I'll darken this up, because that's completely raw. I'm going to go really dark with that and show you how it pops out when you darken it, right? Just keep going. -25 brightness, +25 contrast. That's my standard setting. Keep doing it, they start to show, and that 5 really pops out. There he is. So they're definitely there. You can see them, right? Especially that line there. But it's very eroded, and unfortunately, not in great shape. So there we are. And here are those other things I showed you. Here's that rabbit kind of weird looking thing. And that eye is definitely on there because you can even see it in the raw image, okay? So look on the Gigapan, you'll see that. If you use the magnifier, you'll see it. It's got a roundish eye, oval eye, with a black sort of dot in the middle, there. It's got a mouth here, with some weird sort of teeth detail there, right? And it's got a big sort of ear shaped thing there. And a sort of body, but it's all kind of broken around here, so it probably had feet or something. But that eye is pretty convincing to me. And the head sort of comes around like that. And the ear's got inner detail there. Right? Chin, nose. So it's weird, but this is Mars. So all that is to be expected. And as I've shown before, a lot of the things we see animal-wise, whether they're sculptures or actual remains, do look like some of ours, but a lot of them are very different indeed, and this is one here. This is really weird, whether it's a bird or what, I don't know, but it seems to be broken on top here. But you can see here, you've got an eye there. All right, and if you look closely, there's another one here. And a beak, which comes down like this, and it's joined onto this, so it's got a shoulder. But the top of the head looks like it's been broken off and hit with something and smashed, because it's all kind of jagged here. So this may have come up like that initially, who knows? Who knows what shape it was, but it was probably a lot more smooth than that initially, like that. But it's kind of smashed. So another broken statue, some kind of weird sort of bird, or who knows? Weird sort of detail in the sort of beak area here. So perhaps the beak was, I don't know, not very clear, but there's some details on the side of it there which are interesting. But the eyes are definitely there, okay? You can see those in the actual image here on the Gigapan. I haven't added them. Where's the marker? There it is. See those eyes? You can see one there and one there. And the beak. And in the raw one, you can still see that. It's all there. You can still see those eyes if you look carefully. So you just got to take your time and look carefully. Use the magnifier. Don't have the magnifier set too high and don't get too close, and you'll see it. There's that eye. There's the other eye, and there's the beak. So that was interesting. And I'm sure there are more in here, and I haven't been through all this yet, but very interesting stuff going on here. So that was about it for today. I'll put some clips of these coming up in a minute. And like I said, if you see any of these bogus channels on YouTube, like Mr. Spamiel, or Mr. Daniel as he calls himself, there are about another 5 or 6 similar to that channel, and I think a lot of them are linked together, these channels. If they don't provide links and image information, they are probably bogus, so do beware. I think they're deliberately flooding the market with fake images and fake material to try and discredit this whole Mars kind of archaeology program that me and a few other researchers are doing, okay? So please like and subscribe, give the thumbs up, please leave a comment, let me know what you think those letters say or what you think they look like. It might be something really mundane, but it looks like a place marker, and I have shown plenty of other videos with Mars glyphs and writing on, okay? And it's not unlike many of those that I've shown in Jezero Crater as well, and in Jezero Crater, right? Thanks for watching, I'll see you soon.